Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Healthy Moving Podcast, the show that empowers you to exercise less, but move more so you will feel better. I am your healthy moving enthusiast, Jen Hoffman from healthymoving.com. Today's show is all about one of the most significant lessons my body has taught me, the art of surrender. If life feels particularly hard, like you're constantly swimming upstream, I hope this episode is a salve for your weary soul. I also have another community insight segment for you later in the show. Bridget's going to join me to share a small but powerful mindset shift that's resulted in big positive change in her life. I know you'll be encouraged by her words. But before we dive into today's episode, I have a special invitation for those of you new to the Healthy Moving Podcast. You might be wondering, what exactly is healthy moving? Well, I'd love to give you the 411. I teach a free class called the No Time Exercise Solution that not only explains what we're all about here in this community, but also gives you an action plan for how to begin to weave more movement into the fabric of your day. I hear over and over again from students that this class helps them reduce aches and pains and increase their energy level and improve their body image. Get yourself registered by texting NOTIME, all one word, NOTIME, to 33444 or by heading to healthymoving.com/free class. I'll see you there. This month, our free community class was all about building strength. And I shared in that class that I've found a strong connection between physical strength and mental strength. When I strengthen my muscles, my mental and emotional fortitude grows as well. But that doesn't exactly mean I feel more able to power through life's challenges. Sometimes that means I'm strong enough to surrender. I have a long and complicated history with surrender. I first tasted it in backyard battles and playground scrimmages and never-ending games of Monopoly. It was bitter and it stung on the way down. In history class and on movie screens, I always saw others choke on surrender that was always prepared with battle and opposition. And in Sunday school, I learned that, like broccoli, it was good for me. A nutrient essential to my spiritual health. For years, the simple recipe I used for surrender required only one step. Give up. Walk away. With each taste, I ignored the notes of resentment and bitterness that hit my palate as I swallowed. I pretended the aftertaste of shame wasn't really there. And that feeling of brokenness and defeat that lingered long in my belly, that was just the nutrients working, right? Well, then I stumbled into a cooking class. The instructor had a new way to prepare surrender, and she even called it sweet. The ingredients: a yoga mat, a blanket, an eye bag, and stillness. And instead of giving up, we prepared it by letting go. How sweet it was. Release, not defeat. A building up, not a tearing down. Full, not empty. Friends, my body has taught me that letting go and giving up are not the same thing. One maintains connection, and the other breaks it. One requires incredible strength, and the other leaves me feeling weak and helpless. Surrender can be a gift of rest and freedom and liberation. And our bodies, they can teach us the art of surrender. I want to encourage you this week to take a moment and ponder this question. What are you holding on to with a death grip? Joy, comfort, pain, fear, plans, dreams? Surrender is not about turning your back on those things. It's about holding them with an open hand. After you ponder that question, grab a towel, a pillow, and a blanket. Lie down on the ground, or even do it on your bed. Roll up the towel and put it behind your neck. Place the pillow behind your knees and cover up with the blanket. Then, start at the top of your head and slowly work your way down to your toes, letting go of any and all physical tension and holding. If I was there in the room with you and I picked up your arm and then let it go, it would fall heavy to the ground. Go completely limp. And then stay there for like 10 to 15 minutes. You are strong enough to sit with whatever ick may arise when you first start, because you know that there is a sweetness on the other side of that you can only taste by traveling through. Just keep showing up. May the surrender you experience physically in that practice bring every part of your being rest, hope, and encouragement. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment with this week's Community Insight segment. All right, I am so excited to welcome another member of the Healthy Moving community. Bridget is from Tennessee. Thank you so much for joining me, Bridget.
Yes, hi, Jen.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your life and your typical day and kind of how things roll for you?
Yes. I am an early riser. My body just wakes up early, so I wake up around 5 every morning. Which is good because my husband leaves the house at 6:30 every morning, and then I'm home with our 2 girls, and so I have time with them in the morning. Then I take one of them to school, and then I'm home with my 4-year-old, and we are taking care of the home. We're running errands, doing a play group, going around to dance class and different things like that. And then my husband, after his work, he has other jobs that he is doing also from home. So we have a very busy day. And within that busy day, a lot of my time is caring for the children, which made exercise more difficult to fit into my daily life. So that's where healthy moving has really made a huge difference for me.
And I also want to share with everybody that you have some exciting stuff happening in your family, and that you are soon to welcome a new baby into the fold. So I know that having some solid stuff in place as far as your self-care routines is going to be even more important in the upcoming months as you transition to being a mom of 3. How exciting. So Can you talk a little bit about specifically like what elements of the work that you're doing in the program have been most helpful and most impactful for you?
Well, the biggest thing for me has been embracing walking in my daily life. It's something that I've always loved to do, but I never really considered it real exercise for someone in their 30s. I considered it maybe real exercise for someone retired or something like that. But I always had high expectations of myself of what my exercise would look like. And instead, flipping that to embracing walking, which is something I love, I saw that it's something I could do daily with my busy routine. And it was something that my husband, we could find a time in our schedule when he was home that he could be with the children and I could go on a mile walk. And I've done that now for 10 months, almost every day, at least a mile. And while it doesn't sound like a huge accomplishment versus, 30 minutes on the treadmill and lifting weights 3 times a week or other types of things that I had tried to do before, it is something I could actually accomplish in my life. versus the other things were always too difficult to try to accomplish. And I really just love having my time to walk, and my body feels great, and I have that time to myself and to pray and think about the day. And it's just been, that's been the hugest change in my life since working on healthy moving.
I agree so much. I think that walking kind of, like you said, it has connotations, or we've kind of received some messaging about it and about its effectiveness. But as we've heard, not just from me and from you, but from other members of the community who've been on the podcast in the past, it has just such an amazing, it's got physical benefits. I mean, I absolutely believe that walking is like a superfood when it comes to movement. It gives you so many of the movement nutrients that you need. And when you're walking, and I know you've kind of focused on the mechanics and on your gait cycle a lot in the program, but when you're walking, and paying attention to things like posterior push-off and reciprocal arm swing and all those good, lovely movement nutrients, you use so many muscles and you maintain bone density. It's really a great weight-bearing exercise, and using all those muscles means more calorie burn. It really is just so powerful on a physical level. But it goes beyond that. I love it when we can get multiple benefits from the things we're doing for movement nutrients. You know, we have this kind of mentality in our culture that our movement is something that we do, you know, in a workout that's separate from our life and separate from the way we kind of take care of our life and do our things. But walking can be a way that you bring food home. It can be a way that you take care of yourself, like you said, mentally, and having some kind of quiet time and self-care and prayer. It can also be a way that you bond with your family or with friends, you know, going for a walk with friends. Or sometimes walking with kids doesn't feel really bonding, but I trust myself. I trust the process that my kids are going to look back on all of our family walks with the same kind of fondness that I look back on my family's like early camping trips that I'm sure felt like an incredible amount of work for my parents, but we absolutely look back on those things with fondness. So I'm hoping that it'll be the same for my kids, but I just think you're bringing up such a powerful point in that all of those things, plus it's doable, it's actionable, like we can actually make it happen. It's just incredibly powerful and so important to think of it that way. I love that. So the other thing you talked about in the group is kind of how you're even thinking about the walking and kind of taking a step back and thinking about the movement. I'd love for you to talk about a little bit about what you were sharing about our emphasis on the little wins.
Yes, that's been a really helpful thing for me to feel success, and realizing that feeling successful makes you want to do something more often. And with the emphasis on little wins, you more often feel successful. And I feel like a lot of the information I receive from our culture about health and exercise are celebrating big wins, which are, you know, being able to run a marathon or losing 100 pounds or other really huge accomplishments that I think should be celebrated. But then when I realized that I didn't feel successful because I wasn't accomplishing something that was really big, and then when you had us starting to celebrate our little wins, it was just so great to feel, hey, this is something I am doing. It's helping me and I'm feeling better, and let's celebrate it and feel successful. And then it made me feel like there's more that I could do and be successful, even if it is something small. And that's just really helped me, I think, have a positive relationship with the exercise that I'm doing, instead of feeling guilt of all these things I'm not doing, feeling satisfied and successful. And when I choose to try to do things that I could actually do and be consistent in doing.
I love that. And I do ask, so what Bridget's talking about is in the coaching program, as we're going through the challenges, I ask everybody to really, and I give them some motivation for doing it with some prizes and stuff like that, but I ask everybody to share with themselves and with each other, the little wins, the little things that are happening as a result of their work. And sometimes it's as simple as, you know what, I did today's challenge, like something super simple, but sometimes it's little ways that they're seeing it impacting their body. Or I remember even sometimes someone posted like a little win. I'm noticing that I need my shower less as a wake-up tool. Like she had mentioned that she used to take a shower for 20 minutes in the morning just to try to feel like she could get, awake and alert for the day. But she's like, my other stuff is the other healthy moving things I'm doing in the morning help give me that natural boost. So I'm saving on my water bill. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love all these little tiny things that we can see that are positive from that, because, those big wins that everybody celebrates, they're born of a ton of tiny little wins along the way. And when we're just focused on that end goal, it feels so far away. It feels like, it's just too hard to get there. And it creates this kind of bad feedback cycle of, I'm so far, I'm never going to get there. But when you do shift and you kind of look back a little bit, okay, so I did do this. That is almost like it gives you this momentum and it pushes you forward toward those bigger milestones. So I just think it's such a powerful approach. And I was so thrilled to see that it has been helpful for you and been impactful for helping you really move the needle.
And also, I think a big thing for it is it makes you enjoy the journey more.
Yes.
Because I think instead of waiting to celebrate at the end after you've done all this hard work, being able to celebrate all the way through and feel successful is so much of a better journey to be on also.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes, 100%. That is so great. And speaking of journeys, I can't wait to watch how the next few months unfold for you. I know it's going to be wonderful and amazing. And I am so incredibly grateful, not just for you coming on the podcast, but for your presence in our community and the way you share yourself and your wins so wonderfully with everybody to help encourage and inspire others. I know you've done that lots in the group, and you've definitely done that today, Bridget. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Jen.
Okay, friends, don't forget, I'd love to have you join me for the free No Time Exercise Solution class. Head to healthymoving.com/free class or text the word No Time, NOTIME, to 33444 to register. And if you find the Healthy Moving podcast helpful, would you support the show by heading to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review? This helps me and it helps others find the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. You can get the simple instructions at healthymoving.com/iTunes. And as always, if you know someone who could benefit from this message, we'd both be grateful if you sent them a link. Until next week, friends, keep moving.